Um, this is gonna be this is gonna be a funny one, I think. I don't know about funny. I think this is gonna be I've been putting off doing this one because I am scared of trusting myself, if that makes sense. And in short, um, I'm doing well right now. And it's hard for me to say that because I, like I've talked about, I have these big ups and downs. And sometimes when I'm having an up, it's good, but it's like so good. Um, and I get so caught up in it being so good and like I can't calm myself down. And it just like ends up not being good and I like burn myself out and because I'm like riding a high too much, if that makes sense. And so um one of the biggest things I've been working on is trying to calm myself down and being able to experience my emotions because I'm a very emotional person, but not have them be so big and so all encompassing and like just trying not to, like I've talked about, hold on to things too tightly and kind of let them go a little bit. Letting go has been a big theme in this chapter of my life. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional. Go figure, me talking about being emotional. Just looking in the viewfinder right now because I just realized that I look older. Um, and that's something that I've been thinking about a lot. Like I look like an adult to myself right now and I think in my head I've always felt like a kid and so unsure of what's going on. Like I didn't know, I never could imagine what being an adult would be like. Um because I just felt like for so long I had no idea what was going on, you know? And um I tell people all the time, I feel like I've waited my whole life to be 30. I'm 29 right now. I've said this before, but um because I just feel so much more myself than I've ever been. Like I knew who I was from a really young age, and I just didn't feel like I could be that person because of the environment that I was in because, I was just kind of in the family I was in and there wasn't like room for someone like me to be who I was. And now I feel like I've worked so hard to build the life that I've always wanted. And I feel like I'm finally living it. and so I kind of put off making this video because I knew I was gonna have this reaction. I should have gotten some tissues ready for myself. I think I knew I was gonna have this reaction because I'm feeling very grateful and just so proud of myself because I didn't know that I could get here for a really, really long time. I didn't know that it was possible. And that's not to say all of my problems are solved and I'm totally like, I have plenty of things that I'm, actively working through and struggling with. But like, for the most part, I'm just really proud of myself. Um, and I get to spend my time doing the things that I enjoy and just investing in people that I really care about. And, you know, there there's a lot about work that's still hard, but like work has gotten better, which has helped a lot too. And like um we're just busy. We're in our busy season, one of our busy seasons, which is great because I love getting to just like feel productive and busy at work. Like that makes me feel good. So anyway, I just feel like going back to being afraid to trust myself. Um, I just feel like up until this point, sometimes progress would be scary, like I said, because I would get so like frenzied in my own happiness, in the same way I would get frenzied about my grief or sorrow or depression or whatever, whatever else it is I'm struggling with. So I was just like, this time I'm really trying to get to experience that joy that I've just expressed to the point of tears, but also like uh that level of emotion is not sustainable. But I've been able to feel like so much more grounded in myself and my emotions, um and like present. Like when I was working with my therapist in LA, um he comes from like a mindfulness based practice, and he was such a great therapist. Oh my god, he was great. And it was the kind of thing that he would give me these teachings, and like Thich Nhat Hanh and like that kind of I don't know, I haven't done a ton of research about it, but that type of mindfulness practice, and I couldn't quite, like, I took the information in, I couldn't embody it, I didn't know how to do that yet. I was just I was still at the beginning of like my deconstruction and just my reckoning with reality, truly. So I couldn't like live that way yet, but I could receive the teachings, and then I feel like now is the time that I'm starting to implement them. Like I was thinking about how a lot of times people who don't experience mental health issues or depression or anything like that, they'll just be like, well, just go outside, go on a walk, like, just do. How can you just not just, that was always the reaction whenever I expressed the fact that I was struggling as a kid, or when I was younger. It's like, well, just do it. Why is it a problem? You're just being lazy. Just do it. And I think there's this understanding, or like this misunderstanding, that people who struggle with mental health issues are doing so willingly, like they've just given up. Because I think the thing about me, and again I've expressed this in like the last video and some videos before it, like that was always really hard for me, of people being like, well, you're just not trying, you just are late. Because I was screaming, like I wanted to be better. I always want to be better. I want to be more productive. I want to be a better friend and a better family member, and like all of those things. And I do have like a weird relationship to productivity that I'm also working on, and I don't need to prove my usefulness to be worthy of anything, um especially love. But again, that's one of the things we're working on still. Anyway, but oh, I lost my train of thought. See, there's the ADHD. I got distracted. I was talking about, oh yeah, just like being younger, and I just felt like the like from the reaction from like my parents was very, it could just be dismissive, and like them saying, you're just being lazy, like just get up and do the thing. That's usually not super productive feedback to give someone who's really struggling with mental health, because if they could do it, they would. Like, I think for the most part, everybody wants to maintain their personal hygiene and make sure their body is fed, and that they can contribute to the world and like be a good friend and like all of those things like I'm talking about. I think in general, most people want that. And I think, a lot of times it can be circumstantial, and that's its own thing. But like the biggest thing for me was changing my circumstances and getting to a place where I could, like, now I'm in a place where my life is structured in a way that works for me, and I am being kinder to myself, and I surrounded myself with people who understand me, and don't dismiss me when I need help, but also who don't let me wallow too much. Like, I've struck a really good balance with that now, I think, of like being able to feel my feelings and do all of that while also not just giving over to them completely. And then the people in my life help me maintain that balance, if that makes sense. I just have really emotionally intelligent friends, and I love them so fucking much. Like, they're my family, truly. So anyway, but like now I've finally changed the actual circumstances of my life, the people I spend time with, the things I spend my time thinking about, um, that type of thing, to the point that that advice of like, go outside, get up, don't sleep in too long, do your lawn, like those little everyday things. I say little, like the things that make a life, you know, the everyday habits and routines of like getting up at the same time and showering and maintaining hygiene and doing your laundry and like working on the hygiene of your space. Like, hello, I've talked about this before, but I really want like my next routine. One of my things that I'm working on right now is establishing a routine of like maintaining my space, because I've never done that before. Um, Even as a kid, like I've not, the environment that I was in stressed me out so much. And I mean, like in the physical space of like having things to keep track of and keep them organized and clean, like that was just such a flurry of overstimulation to me that I've never paid attention. So I've always had a super messy room. And that was like a big point of contention with my mom, because she's kind of a neat freak. Anyway, um, but my point is that I'm getting to this point now where like I am not struggling so much with being here, like existing, to the point now that I can start enjoying the monotony of life. Because so much of adult life is monotony, and nobody like told me that. Which, why would they? But there's a lot of chores and errands and work and attending events that you don't really want to attend, but you do because you want to support the people in your life that you love. Like stuff like that. But I was thinking about how one of my favorite movies is About Time. And if you've seen that, it's so cheesy and sentimental and very like romanticize the mundanity of life and the little things. But I've always loved that. I've always loved slice of life um, stuff, and just enjoying observing the way our lives are. Because I think everybody gets caught up in like wanting to live in a fantasy, and I don't know, like I've lived a decent amount of life for someone who's still very young. And I've had a lot of really cool experiences. I've gotten to travel internationally, and I've lived in a big city and in a big industry, and done those cool things. I've been in those rooms where important people are. It's weird. Like, and like all of that can be cool and exciting. I think this is very true of like being from the South too, because I've met so many people, especially queer people, who I'll tell them that I've lived in like a major city like LA, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, that's amazing. That's so cool. Like, I wish I could do that." All of that kind of thing. And I remember that sense of like reverence for that, because especially being from the South and being queer, or being an artist, or just being kind of weird and different, like there is something really special about being able, you should not be sniffing that. That is a chemical. Thank you. Sorry. Um but there is something about going to a big city where like you'll have community, and someone like you will be valued and not ostracized or ridiculed or whatever. Like that's a huge deal. um I should write an essay about that, actually. I want to start a Substack soon. That's another habit that I want to work on, is publishing a bunch of essays, and hopefully like some short stories on there. That would be great. I'll put a link on here when I start one. If anybody's interested in reading anything I have to write. But that's another thing, is my relationship to writing and doing all of that. I'll talk about that another time, because I'm working on that too. But anyway, I was just talking about romanticizing the little things in life, and I have my window open, and it's just a nice day, and the sun is out, and my cats are right here, and they're sitting with me. Oh my God, I washed one of my lipsticks in a load of laundry, and it's like a bunch of my favorite clothes, and I'm so sad. that I did it. I'm in the middle of an experiment to, and by experiment, I really just mean I'm sitting here and I had to go through all of my laundry and like pull out, look, my new Ethel Kane shirt that I got. It's so cute. Um, and it got, yeah, some stains from the lipstick. So I just had to sit here and sort through my laundry and spray it down with um, stain treater, and I just had a little toothbrush and I was just scrubbing, and I was listening to the new Olivia Rodrigo album, and I know it's silly, but I'm like, oh, I'm having such a nice afternoon doing just like sitting here, and I don't know, like I really love my clothes. I love the like objects in my life. I get really attached. Like that quilt that's on my bed is so tattered and it's got a bunch of holes in it and some stains, and like I don't even care. I've had that since I moved into my first adult apartment for the first time. And it's the perfect weight, and it's like a blanket, but the edges of it where I sleep and stuff are getting like all tattered and stuff because I love the things. This is so silly. I just love the physical objects in my life and I get attached to them. And I like when they show some personality and some history and like some wear and tear sometimes. I don't like things that are too pristine, because then it's like you don't have a relationship to that thing. You just so easily discard, like, this blanket that's been with me through God, everything. Like I've had that my whole adult life. And to just be like, oh, this is old, I'm gonna throw it away. No way. I'm just really sentimental about things, obviously. um, but anyway, just getting back to like doing better and stuff. Like I'm just really enjoying a mundane afternoon, and that's nice. And recently I started just having better days. And I would have a good day and be like, oh, I'm having a good day. Like I'm in a good mood today. That's nice. Okay, better enjoy it while I can before, I get really depressed again or whatever. Usually I just feel like I can't trust it, and then I had another good day, and then I had another good day, and then I had another good day. And it feels different this time. Like it feels like I am finally able to shift my mindset in a way that I'm not torturing myself so much. And I think I'm just letting go of some of that really obsessive, like self-checking thinking, because that was, um, I just have some stuff like that. And there's a lot of overlap with people who grew up in high control religion and like religious OCD and that checking behavior. Again, I haven't gotten like assessed for that specifically, but I just know myself well enough to know like, oh yeah, I have some obsessive stuff going on for sure. Anyway, but I'm just kind of like shutting that voice off a little bit, little by little, and just not policing my own behavior so much and my own thoughts. And it's just good. So anyway, I'm trying to keep taking care of myself like I've been talking about. Um, but I really do feel like this has kind of been a mini breakthrough on like my healing journey that I've been on for really since I graduated college and was on my own for the first time, So like I said, I'm so proud of myself. I had a lady sit at the bar the other night. She was really drunk. And sometimes people come in and you can just, I mean, or in general, you just meet people and you can like feel the heaviness and the sadness, and um that just, it makes me really sad. But anyway, this lady came in and she was just one of those and was pretty drunk and was making out with the guy she was with at the bar, like just a little messy. We're all a little messy sometimes. But she was trying to like get me to open up to her, and she was like, just trying to get me to talk about myself and, you know, some of the things I've been through or whatever. And I just didn't feel comfortable sharing that because she was kind of asking like really personal questions just about like whatever. But she did say to me, I can see how strong you are. Because I basically said like, yeah, I'm 29. I've lived a decent amount of life, I feel, And she said, I can see how strong you are. And I was just like, yeah, I am strong. I know that's dumb, but I don't know. I just think about the things I've been through and how much I've learned from them. Like, I was just such a sheltered kid and I didn't know anything about anything. And now I just feel like I said, I know myself so much more and I understand people so much more. And I have so much, like, I just feel like I can understand people and I just have a heart for, like, wanting to meet people where they're at, you know? So being a bartender is interesting because you get to not only like the people who come and visit and, you know, the guests and stuff that you're serving, but also the people that I work with. Like, I am so thankful that I'm surrounded by people that I otherwise would never really encounter in my life because we're stuck in such echo chambers with being online and um just having to be around people all day. It really does humanize you. I know it's like it's easy to get overwhelmed and to struggle to be around people, you know, that much, but I think it's important to do the work in ourselves so that we're not stressing ourselves out being around other people, if that makes sense, because like that's been such a huge thing for me is I can't control how other people perceive me. All I can do is be myself. And once I think we absolve ourselves of the sin of being ourselves fully, I know this sounds so cheesy, but like it's just uh the world becomes a much easier place to navigate, I think. You know? So just having grace for ourselves and others, I think, is a lesson that I am learning. So anyway, um I'm just feeling very grateful today and very content, I think is a good word. Um so I'm feeling like peaceful. So yeah, this has been good. Thanks for listening. If you've listened to this far or at all or whatever, I'm gonna go do some laundry and continue my errands today. But yeah, I am very thankful to be enjoying a nice afternoon off. Uh, it is not lost on me what a privilege that is, you know? So, anyway, I hope everybody else is good. I hope that some of this was interesting to you to listen to. And yeah, I'm gonna go back to my afternoon. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Hopefully my journey will continue to be a healthy one and all such things. Baku's being the sweetest. Hi, buddy. Hey, the cats are happy I'm home too. I've been spending a lot of time just like out and about with people. So, anyway, okay. I'm gonna go now because I'll keep rambling forever. Talk to you later. Bye.